Okay, good evening once again, and this is the Deep National Hour program. Deep is the Democracy and Empowerment for Economic Progress. Deep is a civil rights nationalistic organization propagating the true sense of nationalism and the call to national duties. Once again, I'm Dr. Ibrahim Dassamasu the first. I'm the executive director of the Democracy and Empowerment for Economic Progress. So we'll ask that you'll be able to follow us up on our page, our Facebook page. That would be okay if you just go strictly to Deep National our Facebook page. Okay, Deep National our Facebook page, and then you'll be able to follow us, and you can follow us on this line. That is the True FM. That is the Facebook page. I think some other TV, and we can go on. Okay, so today, in an effort to help build a society that Liberians can benefit, things that they may not be dreaming about, and some things they are yearning for, we need to understand some very important roles that we have to play as citizens, and that is important in our everyday lives. So I just want us to look at a saying from Mark's cousin that says, we shall never change our political leaders until we change the people who elect them. We should never change political leaders until we change the people who elect them. This sounds strange, but it is familiar in our political terrain. You see, most often people complain about leaders. Like currently, we have a leadership that is not even 3 months in office, and there are lots of complaint, disappointment, hard feeling, mixed feeling, all sort of counterproductive response to this government. Um, you ask yourself the question because this government came in replacement of a previous government, that government also replaces another government that came into existence. So it means that the changing of leadership must have been predicated upon certain well-schooled, certain well-understood content that the society wants to achieve, for which they elect certain leaders. Now, in order to elect those leaders, there should be criteria, there should be benchmark. People should be able to see certain things from those leaders in order to place them into offices. Unfortunately, when the society does not follow the trend in which leaderships are, or better leaderships are elected or placed into offices, then the society also get a popular saying that every society gets the kind of leader that reflect that society. Why are people complaining today? Because those who elected the leaders did that based on emotion rather than looking at a nationalistic basis. What are we saying? Debates are intended for leaders to come and open their manifestos, wherein the society will be able to peruse, critique, see whether that particular leadership reflects what they actually want, rather than hearing sentimental, unexplained, not properly defined messages that we have in the past. You say, on the poverty stuff, poverty reduction, why everything is pro. Now that was not properly defined, and people ran into it, and they experienced what they experienced, for which they chose to have a change of leadership. But they did not have a change of mind, meaning, how did they elect that leadership in the first place? What were the lessons learned to avoid a reoccurrence in how they conduct themselves and how they elect leaders? Okay? So, if you use the wrong method to do the wrong thing in the right environment, will not give you the right result. No matter how many times you use the wrong method, your wrong approach, wrong calculation in the appropriate environment will never give you the right result. You want to have a cake. You know for the way that you should be in the know that to have cake, you will need things like butter, you need egg, you need milk, you need sugar, you need flour, you need vanilla or whatever extra you will need. You will need those appropriate ingredients that you will need to follow through the recipe in order to get cake. But if you want to have a cake and you have potato grains, you have buckwheat, you have raw oil, and whatever thing, you know your result. No matter how many times you use that, you will never ever reach to a cake. Now, if the society wants to get a good leader, the society should be very, very mindful, very, very calculative, and be able to change the mind how to go about in electing leaders. Now, if you elect a given leader out of whatever emotional approach, then you should be able to give that leadership an opportunity to exist. However, they dispense their own administration, permit them. Period. But if you will be going into something the wrong way because you want to hurt another leadership, then Mark is saying that we should never change our political leaders until we change the people. Changing the people, it doesn't mean that the people, it means the mindset, okay, of those who elect them. Henceforth, it is important as citizens to elect the right leader who can create transformation. It's important, very, very important. Things that should never ever be a part of any leadership is some of the things are the things that Liberians hold to fully in this country. One, money. Good. As long as people have money, it serves as one of the influencing factors to be elected in our society. Now, when people use money, it means that the issue of integrity have already been compromised. Because you have already introduced that which should have never ever been introduced in the process, which is giving money and not giving vote. That should never ever be introduced. So that particular people who elect people based on that, the result that come out, there should be people to live with that result. If you cannot, then the problem is not with those being elected. The problem is with those who elect, those who have been elected. Okay? So the problem in our Liberian society is not the politician. The problem in the Liberian society is the people who elect these politicians. What are the benchmark at the society setting? You elect people based on travel line. Wow, that's good. Now, you cannot elect people on travel line and you want to get the best quality of those people, because travel line is not one of the base requirements for any good leadership. Leadership, fire, and those kind of practices. Okay? But you do that. So Mac is saying that the society will always reap that which it deserves. You went to work and you elect a leadership that you refer to as gerontocracy. Gerontocracy. A leadership, a leader who is old. He may have some physiological issues, but he saw his age and he blessing them. That is not something I'm saying right or wrong. That is not what I'm saying. At the end of the day, who do you expect to see in his government? The young? No. You expect to see the thing old school because the birds of the same feather flock together. So you see a lot of old hands that may not have the contemporary expertise of today's setting to move the kind of society we have. Liberian society have gone to another level. Our politics is not like the 80s or the 70s, or not even to even mention the 90s. Things are changing. It's dynamics. Now, if you have a group of people who are being elected based on certain limited criteria in good leadership, you should be there to expect and reap the result. And that's where we are today. There are possibilities that this administration may perform to some level, even though there are greater proportion academically that the incompetence of this administration would not be far from the incompetence of the past administration based on just well-calculated factors. In order for us to know that you'll be able to properly produce, it means that you should be able to properly lay your foundation, lay your platform. Let us see through your platform. Let us know. But the society is not, a genuine society that scrutinizes its leaders. So people come and use, make statements that cannot be substantiated, and the society rose with that. Take for an example. How can a society of this nature that started higher education around 1882 and around 62 and 1889, you're talking about the Liberal College, which is the Liberal University now we have here, and the Continental University. So it means that you have more than 150 years of active existence or higher education cannot determine when someone tells you that I have over 40 years of working experiences in government. That alone should tell you right there, it means that they expect to have your connected ability going to work. Meaning, you subtract the current time the person is making that statement from the current date you are and know when that particular person started the work of work. And if you do your own analytical calculation, you'll see that that particular person starts his political career with myth, or we call it with diabolical prevarication, lies. Simple. It means that in the person's leadership, when elected, the person may partly exhibit either being a passive leader, passive leader, or the person may also come out to be an autocrat, or maybe a puppet leadership may exhibit in the country. And there's no doubt that Liberia is gradually walking to having a puppet leadership. It's clear because the leader, the current person, is physiologically a passive leader, a passive president. Clear, no doubt about that. He's not in charge. He's not proactive. He's retroactive. You see those things, those characteristics, walking along with the current leader simply because there were things that should have been done before he even came into office did not happen. One, you never had a tough race, in terms of tough race, intellectual race, where the major candidate, we are and Boakai, going head to head in debates, buffering right ideas that the Liberian people were reading through in order to determine who has the best idea. Look, every successful person runs behind the best ideas. Every poor society runs behind emotional statements, things that get you excited, money does not run beyond excitement. Money runs beyond knowledge, ideas. So if you have certain competence in you, money run right behind you. You don't go running after money. Then it means that success will always be far from you. So you always remember that if you want to make the best choice based on informed judgment. That's the reason why people always use seven of many other thinking abilities. Now, if you have that situation coming to you until you say, look, we are in the cycle of this 40 plus years, you know for well that that's a lie because the society, you have an educated class, you have a society that is more balanced, that is not driven by individual, instead they are driven by the national interest of this country. But you see, an entire society is more politically driven by their interest to a political party because of different purposes. Okay, protection, job, and all kind of unnecessary things that are counterproductive to a growing society. Our society will never make progress when the people who elect these terrible leaders are still following the same pattern that caused them to elect those terrible leaders. And they cannot desist from statements that undermines the intellectual capacity or integrity of a country. Like, you came on mind, came on power, vote for you. Nobody will vote for you. Whether you be in the castle or not, we'll vote for you. I know, you're Leo, this person we want. Until those statements are being replaced by more concrete, genuine actions, the next leader that you think that you have to replace this particular person, if you follow that same pattern, that role print, it means that you'll be heading for another 181 years in miserable lifestyle. Your country is one of the least among the poorest in the world, and you are ranked among the oldest in the world because you started active activity 1822. You just celebrated your 200 years of existence as a nation, livestock, and you have 176 years as a republic. How do you accumulate all those years without seeing physical or tangible, having an improved economy, improved educational system, improved political system, improved decision-making ability in your country, those basic necessities of life, things like electricity, water, those telecommunication are all available and almost in the 15 counties of the country. You have not even passed the level yet. Monserrato, that holds the capital city, it's still dark, it's still hot, it's out of water, it's out of leadership, it's out of not every way you can get the communication. In fact, your communication is even in the hands of non-state actors. Okay, it's not in the hands of government, non-state actors. So it tells you that you are still far behind many things, and that is simply because of the decision you make. The decision. They said citizens should elect leader considering their ability and capability to make a difference and add value to the society. That is something that is determined by the person's legacy, not something that someone just say and you follow with them. Your leader, how many of them have you seen them being in the long struggle of advocacy change, being in that nationalistic activity that should bring about transformation in your society, that you can use as a convincing fighter to have them into leadership? That is miserably disappointing when it comes to Barker, because I'm all throughout his record I've read, I have not seen that level of potentiality in him, and being very vigorous and have made substantive change in the Liberian society that is evident by what we can see and not by what we can hear. Politicians, they only need smart guys to come on the media and say all the nice things that the people need to hear in order for them to give them the vote. And after that, the performances always is miserable. So you see today, 7-7 are crying because they were promised something that they have not gotten, they have not even seen light to get. Then to make it more frustrating, you're talking about 40,000 person, you're talking about going to go do your setting of your pay and other things then. But we are closely watching it because people will actually step in if government would try to terminate that number of individual. It means that government is actually perpetrating poverty in a society that is already striking with too many hardship. You at least in our society when it comes to poverty, you are at every level. Even your national budget. You're talking about $600-700 million. You should be talking about for a county, but now 600-700 million I give you about is an allocation for that county, but now your budget should be around $5-6-7 billion by now, even more, because the difference between you and America in age is not even 100 years, and not even I think 50 years plus. No, those of you that know history, just go to the American independence. You see how many years is different between the independence of America. I think it was in the 17th, and you are in the 18th. So it means that you have less than 100 years between you and America. And you should be an improved society by now, an industrialized society by now. But because the people are poorly educated, poorly strengthening intellectually, bad leadership have always been coming and coming back and be re-elected. So at the end of the day, they're not receiving the dividends that they need. The society is terrible. Very, very terrible. There are certain cars you can bring in this country because the roads are bad. The cars you need, the kind of car are way up. You don't need any kind of low kind of luxurious vehicle low down to the road and other things. Then you bring it here, even the street bomber will damage it. I experienced it in one of my vehicles. So it tells you that besides the sharp mouth that we have made as a credential in this country, we don't have anything to compare to other countries that are ranking with the same age like us. We are still begging from Ghana, we still begging from Nigeria, we are still carrying people for treatment in Guinea, other countries, those countries that came in the 50s, 60s for the independence. When we have existed for more than 100 years, the society needs to stop, because the society is paralyzing itself and thinking that someone is doing it to this society. The society needs to get up. And Deep is saying that one of the best ways to do it is those things that we have done over the years. The ways we have elected people to represent us have given us the kind of terrible leadership that we have. Take for example, the issue of the war crime code. It's a national policy issue. If this country wants to make progress, the first thing is when you talk about bringing the war and economic crime code in this country, the society will yearn to know more about the war crime code and economic code. They want to debate the issue because the national policy issue talking about. They want to know what it's relevant, the impact it will have politically, psychologically, traumatically, socially. The society will want to know, because that is the thing about the fellow. The society should have this curiosity to know. People have so many interpretations about this war and economic crime code. We're all having tangibles, the pators or the etors. We don't have the requisite information. So, as an academician, I would tell you that I cannot even support something that I don't have sufficient information to determine how it ends. I'll listen to one of the platforms, and I heard one of the representatives ask a question. So, if the war crime code is being established, what next? And the person that was pushing in for this could not even provide any additional information. Haphazard decision. That's the reason why we say if decision making was so easy, then it means that everybody should be successful. It's the quality of decision that people make transform their life. Poor quality decision will always lead to impoverishment. Where the liberal society is, you want to have that kind of issue that will also borrow on diplomatic practices. Have we studied major key actors, whether they are national actors or non-state actors, that participated in the process, the Guinea contribute to the war in Liberia, Sierra Leone did it, Africa did it. There are a lot of questions that needs to be discussed. The society needs to have an understanding and be able to determine whether it is appropriate now or not. I talk about the issue of the sociological impact, the political impact, the psychological impact, the traumatic impact, the economical impact. And you get a lot of different kind of impacts. So when the society go and study this particular issue, any decision the society, the country will take, the country will be in the know how we end. And they will have plan A and plan B for any eventuality that may come afterward. That's the power of knowledgeability. Taking informed decision as leader. You know why? In other countries, successful countries, let me just talk about America that you love so much. You know why the American, for the past 60, 70 years, changed the way they elect their representatives and senators? That today they will have highly quality and qualified individuals as senators. People that have credentials, nobody less than a bachelor degree, experience, people who are prepared to have committee that will go investigate things and give them proper information that they can sit on before making decision, and not like the haphazard things that we do in our representative senatorial building up there. You think by saying yeah and nay and make things right? What more information do you have on the subject matter? What more? This guy, what his name said, one of the American leaders, he said something that is very unique, and I think it's good to mention it. That is Franklin D. Roosevelt. He said the future lies with those wise political leaders. He said the future lies with leaders. Franklin D. Roosevelt said that the future lies with those wise political leaders who realize that the public, the great public, is interested more in government than in politics. Here, we are more interested in politics, lies. Because when you talk about politics, it will make you to know that less than 20% of everything politicians say they will fulfill it. That's what done by the Canada, the institution. Less than 20% of what politicians tell you, they will fulfill them. So a good society will not be counting on politics. A good society will be looking at governance, the rule of law, the strength of the Constitution. Are we looking at a country that plays by the law or the country that plays by men? How are decisions influenced or made in our society? Are we making decisions based on factors that influence that may have negative or positive, or we are making it based on politics? We have a lot of things to discuss about such subject content, and we hope to take up much time to do that. So could you imagine? This is something that you Liberians need to grapple with. And U.S. president is saying that, Franklin D. Roosevelt, that the future lies with those wise political leaders. We are interested in I'm a tribal man, I'm a kinsman, I'm a political leader. You get all those kind of cheap stuff. What you are interested in. But if your country should succeed, you need wise leaders. And from my own context, as a nationalist, I would tell you, say you need a strong, radical, nationalist, educated to transform this country. You need a very strong nationalist who is radical, who is prepared to take decisions no matter the connection of strings attached. If we could run a puppet government that is gradually creeping in a Liberian society or Liberian governance, it means that people outside will be influencing decisions made here. Then it means that your leaders are not wise, according to Franklin D. Roosevelt. Because in order for you to have wise political leaders, it means that the decision should be contingent on nationalistic agenda. What are you trying to offer for your nation? What have you sold to this country? If today you should open a line and ask me, what do you mean by rescue? You have more than 10,000 different interpretations, which will make it very, very difficult for this government to be able to fulfill. Because the government did not properly spell out, properly define what they meant by the rescue. So the interpretation many people have, this government does not even have, or the entire country does not even have the financial budget to meet them. This thing. So he asked the question, when you go back to what Marx said, then how did the country reach the decision to elect this government? Then it comes back to a poorly educated, undefined society, which is terrible, which is very terrible. This is one of the reasons why your leaders will not try to strengthen your educational system. They will not try to strengthen nationalism in the educational system. We don't have a system in this country, educational system. We have an educational sector. System, you mean a step-by-step, chronological. It may have, all the different kind of taxonomy involved, approaches, whatever it is, that is standardized and being governed by a set of rules. Unfortunately, today, that is not the case. It's not. If the society can have and repeatedly make statement that people are graduating from high school and college cannot write 15 letter and they cannot do anything about it, it just overemphasizes the illiterate nature of our country. Because an educated society will have signal or see the symptom and try to find cure. But if we will keep working with such thing over year after year, year after year, it means we're not learning. And that is terrible for our society. Most especially that institutionalized higher education for more than 150 years. Can you imagine 18? God, that's terrible. Where are we today? What are we defining today? Okay. So it will surprise you today. Politicians say they are going to do one thing while intending to do another thing. Then they do neither what they say nor what they intend. Look at contradiction. They said they are going to do one thing what they intended. People will always say things far from what they have in their mind. Because your society does not persecute people when they lie. Your society doesn't do that. Your society tolerates it. So lying becomes a practice in our political terrain. Not only political terrain, but every sector of our society now, these bad practices have become epidemic, complete epidemic. So when lying is it's an acceptable behavior pattern in your society, it means the issue of trust will be at the window. Trust. So you see, you have brought a culture now in your country that people see political decision-making process as money-making process. Will that ever leads this country into becoming a successful nation? Have you sat down to think? Once again, I'm Dr. Abraham Dasamasil the first. I'm the executive director of the Democracy and Empowerment for Economic Progress. DEEP. DEEP is a civil rights nationalistic organization propagating the true sense of nationalism and the call to national duties. You can follow us on the DEEP National Our Facebook page. That is DEEP National Our Facebook page. We'll be happy that you join the process. You can subscribe and share the page as many times as possible. We highly appreciate for you to do that very now. Just go straight to the Deep National Our Facebook page, go to the page and just subscribe and say, I want to be a part. And then to talk to us, our personal number, that is our office number. We'd like you to call these numbers. That is 0886 732138. 0886 73 21 38. And for our orange number, that's our office number, you can call 0777 28 42 55. 28 42 55. 28 42 55. 0777 28 42 55. So that's our office numbers. You can call and share your opinion with us, see how you can contribute to the process, how you can help in strengthening the process. I know there are a lot of good Liberians out there who want to see change in this country. And one of the best ways that we can bring about change is to bring about collectiveness. We should bring collectivity. We should work together as team because there is strength in unity. In union strong, success is sure. That is something that we need to do. Everything we may say may not be as you want it, but one thing is very important is we should be more nationalistic than party oriented or individual oriented. Let us leave put our country first. Okay, so when we speak on our platform, those of you who have been following us for the past years, you see that we always keep ourselves balanced and we speak on behalf of our country because that's the best thing we can do for our country. And the government has its own responsibility to work and ensure that the right things are done. Okay. So again, I'm Dr. Ibrahim Tassamansil the first. I'm the executive director of the Democrats Empowerment for Economic Progress, DEEP. And I will give you our numbers. We'll be back on this platform. We'll open the line for you to make your own input, and then we will work together. So um, not the platform now. They will announce the numbers to call, but for our office number after the show, you can call 0777 28 42 55, 28 42 55, 0777, which is 0777 28 42 55, and then 086 73 21 38, 73 21 38. Okay, so we just close up here and give you an opportunity to participate. You can follow us on our Facebook page. We'll highly appreciate for you to just share this page and always tune into this station at this identical time, and let us see how we can work together for the good of our nation. God bless you, and we'll take your participation. No, 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 I did not say that. Sorry, please. I did not say that. Yes, I said hello, hello, Reverend, Reverend. Okay, Reverend, Reverend. Okay, uh, Reverend, Reverend. Y- Yeah, Reverend. Okay, let me just talk to Reverend so that I got in. Reverend, I think it's good for the good of the public I did not say that. I said, if you didn't want to just hear me out, I want to ask you a question. How much information do you have about that? I did not say that the World Crime Code was wrong. I said we need to get more information on what it entails. Sometimes you may be thinking about the person who did the act, but maybe the World Crime Code will come because you don't understand international diplomacy or international law, and they may not go down to those people who may have done that. They may go up the ladder. So you need to get a better understanding of everything. And why I say you need to have, you need to understand the impact psychologically. You have to understand the impact dramatically. You have to have the impact economically, socially. So that's what I said. So please get it. Don't get emotional about this. It's that emotional thing I'm discussing here. Yeah, 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 Okay, now the responses have just validated what I said. I said you need to study it to look at the psychological impact. Two of the cutters are talking about the psychological impact. Now, if you want to do something as a country, if this is an informed society, we should be able to study, know the weight of the psychological impact, that traumatic impact it has on the society. You weigh it along with the economic impact, those sociological impact. Look, there are various components of institution of the society that you must be able to study before you make a proper decision. If the psychological or traumatical impact will overshadow the economic and political impact of the society, it means your country will be doomed. That's the reason why you should be able to make informed decisions. Put it in the public square with academicians, people who have broad knowledge in different spectrum of the society. Let them study it and give you the best answer. But if you do it on a haphazard emotion and you take decision, you will always end up the way that people did it out of emotion. 1997, you did all emotion when you said, boy, you did everything out of emotion. I'm saying we need to change, according to Mike Costco. He said, you cannot change political leader until those who elect them are changed. If you want to change, stop doing the same thing over and again and expecting to get a different result. God bless you until I come back on your platform again. I'm Dr. Abraham Dasamasi the a nationalist, the Executive Director of Democracy Empowerment for Economic Progress. God bless you. Again, I'm Dr. Silu. Have a good day.